Trevor, that now brings us to, again, Cronpod. The New York Mets, your 7:37 game, the airplane game as I call it.
Okay.
Jacob deGrom.
Why?
7:37, like the airplane.
Oh, okay.
I just made it up. I don't know. That's how my brain works.
I was like, I never heard you say that before.
That's how my brain works. Jacob deGrom, best pitcher in the world. A lot of people believe, and there's a lot of good arguments for that. Mets season on the line, back against the wall in their home ballpark after they saw some of the stuff that happened around baseball today. Blake Snell has been hot in this second half. He's got the playoff resume. He comes in with the Padres, the chance to be the bad guys. And in the first inning, deGrom comes out. He looks gross. 1, 2, 3. How's your day? Huge. Gets the Citi Field rocking. And then Frankie Lindor, he tattoos one. 403. And again, stuff that's important but not important. Head down. Head down. Gave a little like, let's go, boys. Very businesslike from these Mets in this game. Trent Grisham then shows up. Hello. Speaking of guys that had tough regular seasons and now they are postseason monsters, he goes Oppo Taco off deGrom, off getting Scherzer the day before. Brandon Nimmo, how's your big day, my guy? RBI single. He puts together a 3-for-3 start to his day in this game. Profar, infield single. They tie it back up. It's 2-2. And then Big Pete Alonso, again, very businesslike in the home run. It appears I'm going to overharp on this. And then what everyone was talking about. Buck goes to Edwin Diaz in the 7th inning. Holy smokes. Everyone starts doing bullpen math. Can he get through 3? Do you have when's Ottavino or someone else ready? You know, if they do get a lead, do you keep them in? The fun conversations of baseball are at full tilt. And guess what? The Mets made those conversations kind of go away with a massive inning. Adrian Morejon didn't really have it. McNeil with the huge 2-run double. Eddie Escobar, Vogie. They put up 4 runs in the 7th after Diaz had come in and shut them down. Diaz comes back out for a couple outs, but they keep his pitch count under 30. I think that's significant for what will now be tomorrow's game. And by the way, we still get a scare late. Machado gets walked in for a run. The tying run is at the plate. Seth Lugo gets him. The Mets win 7-3. A little bit of a scare late. But the Mets move on. And they're going to be our only third game tomorrow, which is crazy in this new wild card format. For a second, the Rays were how close. The Jays were how close. It looked like we could have been having all 4 game 3s. Instead, they're going to be the only ones there. Trevor, Padres, Mets, where do you jump to?
I think I'm not going to say anyone was businesslike. That's your thing in this.
That's my thing.
Show. Okay, you got it. I was interested in the Diaz move because I was trying to understand it in the moment as well. And then it's funny, Trent Grisham, we talk about lack of offense all throughout the year. He's the boogeyman in this scenario. Buck Showalter said, this guy's been killing us. I'm going to bring my best reliever in to face him right now and kind of put the fire. I thought that was like, it's just, that's postseason baseball right there. It's like certain guys getting hot. I think it was unconventional of Buck to do that, but you know what, dude? Like, it ends up working out. He keeps his pitch count under 30, like you said. I don't know why 30 is the number. Why I don't get that, but I'm in it. I'm in it, man. And I thought the decision though to bring him back out was interesting because he sat for 46 minutes. Is that even right? Like I keep reading these things and I watched the game, but like 46 minutes, it's crazy for a half inning. Goes back out and does. I thought that was a little interesting right there. I don't know if I would have put him back out there, but Buck is a manager that's pretty good. So, these are the decisions I talked about before the series. I said, managers, this is where you earn your money, man. Like these pitching decisions and, when you're going to run your guys out there, because you do see this in the postseason and you don't see it in the regular season where you're running your closer out there in high leverage situations. Right. Like you're putting your guy, especially Edwin Diaz is a 9th inning dude. for the Mets. He doesn't pitch in any other innings, okay? But now he's going to because of the postseason. I thought it was awesome, man. Very businesslike by the Mets, right? Jeff McNeil choking up, getting that knock. Eddie Escobar, squeaking run through the other way. I think it was like a 67 exit velocity. Doesn't matter, man. Put it where they ain't. And yeah, the Padres, they put forth a valiant effort there at the end. Lugo kind of hung that pitch to Bell there. That thing could have went far, but Bell ends up grounding out. And we're going to get a game 3, which I'm very, very excited about.
Yeah, a little credit to the Padres for fighting back late and almost making a very Metsy moment. And that's the Diaz part of this on multiple levels. So I'll go hand up at first. I thought he came in too early. I said, I don't know, man.
Because isn't Grisham coming up later in the game anyway? So it's like, when do you want this to happen? It was interesting.
To get 3 innings out of Edwin Diaz, he has to be perfect, and there can be nothing, right? And by the way, there's a line drive that goes off Lindor's glove that you kind of almost start having a Mets moment of like, oh boy, like is that, we almost ruined the perfect game Edwin Diaz needs to have to get through these 3 innings. The other side of it was if Edwin Diaz comes in and he's Edwin Diaz and he does his job, then if the Mets offense does something, you get a little more breathing room, and that's what happened. And by the way, it still got scary at the end, but you mentioned Diaz coming back out. If he didn't come back out, and now he got 2 outs, we're talking about Ottavino and Seth Lugo struggling to get through the end of this game. Those 2 outs could have been massively important. Like if he had not sent Edwin Diaz back out after 20 pitches or whatever it was, and the Mets did blow this game in epic fashion, that would have been the whole storyline. So they do send him back out for a couple outs, and he'll be ready to go for tomorrow. Ottavino and Lugo more or less get it done at the end. I think more importantly, when I look back at this box score, Lindor started off the scoring. 300 million Frankie. Like, he's a guy that if and when the Mets season does end, he's one of the first guys you got to circle. He's supposed to be a star of star on this team. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, one of the best sluggers in baseball. That is more than just a slugger. He's a great hitter, but he slugs. He hits a go-ahead homer. McNeil hits the 2 RBI double. And even Nimmo, the top 4 in that lineup. Well, actually, Starling Marte gets slid up, which that's part of the conversation. But Brandon Nimmo, a guy who all year I've said, like, what's Brandon Nimmo's highlights look like? Like, I see Lindor, I see Alonso, I see all of it. To have a 3-for-3 start to the day in a do-or-die game from your leadoff hitter, I mean, that is impactful. That is very impactful. So, huge day from Nimmo. Proud of these Mets. And like I say in business life twice in that first minute of this episode, I feel bad. And it doesn't matter, but it does. And connecting it to the Blue Jays. The Mets played last night's game like, hey, we need to lock this in because we are not going to be on the back page of the tabloids tomorrow. Like, we are not. Like, everyone bring your best at-bats and let's get this win. And Alonso and Lindor's home runs, it means nothing. But the fact that they were head down, kind of little points to the dugout, like they were there on a mission yesterday. And they end up getting it done.
Yeah. 3-1 pitch to Lindor right there in the first. Kind of grooved one, for being honest here. Snell kind of right down the middle, but they were showing him taking batting practice early before these games. And I don't know if that helped. I don't know, man. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. You can point to it now. Like, you're getting extra work in the playoffs, and then you do this. That is what a leader does. Put forth the example. Like, I'm going to go out there. We're in the playoffs after a long season. I'm going to get some extra work right now because I want to feel good during the game. So I'll piggyback your business like shit. Right now, I like where the Mets heads are at. Game 3 today. It's going to be fun to watch.
After they take that 3-2 lead, DeGrom comes out for the 6th. And again, 5 innings, two runs for Jacob DeGrom in a playoff start is kind of mid, for lack of a better term. He comes back out for the 6th with the 1-run lead, strikes out Cronenworth, gets Drury and Kim. in the most important inning of his and the Mets season at that point, to give that lockdown inning, takes his start to 6 innings, 2 earned, makes that feel a lot better. And then we know they obviously kick it. By the way, they're up 3-2. Darren Ruff gets hit by a pitch. They put in playoff legend Terrence Gore. Instant double play ball. There's some bad juju there for a moment. It all goes away after that, after Diaz gets the job done.
It seemed like those were the guys, like Buck had this drawn out like before the game. DeGrom and then some mixture of Lugo, Ottavino, and Diaz. And now Ottavino walks some dudes, and I think that he'll have to obviously tighten that up a little bit. But, these managers get on these runs with these guys in the playoffs, like guys they really trust. Yeah. And they won't say that to the rest of the relievers, but they have a few guys who they trust in big situations. And it's kind of looking like this will be it for him. Maybe sprinkle some other guys in, but I always like seeing like who are the guys that they're going to go to, here. And it just seemed like this was the plan all along. Maybe not in that order, but those guys.
Snell is our guy. It's just a tough day at the office for him. 6 walks. His pitch count in the 3rd inning was, approaching 80, and you're like, what's going on here? Obviously not his dream playoff start. Kudos on the Mets for putting together some good at-bats and all of that. Anything else on this game, Trev? Because this is the only series that we kind of have to preview the 3rd game tonight.
Musgrove, Bassett coming up for him. This is awesome, man. This is exactly what we want in these series where, 2 good games going into a 3rd one. It's anybody's ball game. I don't know, man. Mets business like in game 2. Are they going to show up and do that again? We'll see.
The Padres, they have their bullpen fresh. We haven't seen have we seen Josh Hader yet? No, we haven't seen the bad man for them. You talk about your playoff formula and Edwin Diaz coming out in the 7th. Don't be surprised if we see Josh when they need it. Also Robert Suarez, he threw only 7 pitches Friday night. Luis Garcia, you saw him pumping. He threw 20 on Friday night. It's all hands on deck. It's a do or die game. But boy, do they have a formula. You've got Musgrove, who's been nails lately. He's ready to go. I've been saying nails a lot. Do we like it?
It's all right.
It's okay. All right.
It's okay.
I'm going to try to space him out more. You have Sean Manaea ready to go in case of emergency. If you need to bail on Musgrove, he is ready to go. With those good bullpen guys, the Padres are built up and ready to go. Chris Bassett on the other side, he pitched in that, second pressure pack start in the past week and a half for him. He was in that Atlanta series. We know Edwin Diaz is going to have to be available for whatever they need. And it's going to be very interesting to see if they have to connect that bridge from Bassett to Diaz. How are they going to do it? David Peterson, you talk about playoffs happening quick. He looked really dominant in his outing. Are we going to see him, especially if there's a lefty lane? That Soto guy?
Yes.
Yeah, watch out for that. Joely has been really good against lefties all year. He's got a funky lineup. There's some, Buck and the Mets are going to have a game plan for him coming into this. Are we going to see our guy Trevor May, Drew Smith? Lugo would be his 3rd day in a row. He only threw 4 pitches yesterday, though. Otto threw 35 last night. So the Mets formula to get there is a little more slippery than the Padres, and that's the advantage of winning that first game. That being said, it feels like this game is in Bassett and Musgrove's hands, which, by the way, I know some of the name recognition isn't there with, the Scherzer and DeGroms and even Darvish Snell. This is a really good matchup.
It's a very, very good matchup. You're totally right. I had something I was going to say, and I totally forgot.
Okay.
It. So that's where my head is at. I don't like nails that much. I decided.
Okay. I'll stop using it. I don't love it.
First game, game 7. I know it's game 3, but first game 7, win or go home for both teams.
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it, man.
The true desperation of it. Padres, let's see what.
I want to see some funky shit with the pitching. I love that. I love high leverage, bringing in these guys early in the game. Like I want more of that. That's so fun to me. Like I said, I like decisions like that being made. I want to see people have to use their brains during the game. I want to see Buck Showalter like looking at the book and talking to his dudes, and Melvin just like, what do we do? What do we do? And then boom, that decision ends up winning you the game or losing the game. I love that, man.
I mean, two of the more respected managers in baseball. You got for Game 3 starters, you're going to have two of the best Game 3 starters that you're going to.
How quick is a leash? Like all these things happen in these games. Like,
do we see Trent Grisham slide up the lineup? Like you're saying, he's been a boogeyman this series. Machado and Soto. Soto's stat line ends up looking fine. It felt like those guys had a couple pitches that they could have really done damage on. They looked locked in. Profar has been a problem. Of the trade guys, Bell. Is Brandon Drury going to be back out there? I don't know. I'm interested to see what that Padres lineup looks like. The Mets, they're going to be interesting. They slid Marte up because he had the spark plug game 1. Do they slide him back down after an 0-for-5? You talk about decisions getting made. Decisions are going to start getting made at 2 when these lineups start to get written up that are going to impact. And like we've said, coming into these series, even the Blue Jays, and we're about to talk about the Cardinals, and even the Rays, you have a full season, 162, and then 2 games, it's over. 1 game tonight. We haven't
pick?
We haven't gotten to Bo Marinado yet, but you can see how in an instant, 1 game feels a lot different than 162.
Who'd you pick? I don't remember who you picked for this series.
I picked the Mets.
I think I picked the Padres. Yeah, okay.
I picked the Mets. I'll stay with them. Dude, it's razor thin. Like who? It's one baseball game. To pretend I know, do I think the Padres have the slightest advantage with their bullpen being fresher and deeper? And I think I like Musgrove a little more than Bassett. Yes, that's nothing. In 1 game, that's nothing. So I'll stay with Los Mets.
Yeah, I mean, I picked the Padres to win the series. I mean, again, we're just picking to pick, dude. Nobody knows. Pete Alonso could walk up and hit 3 homers today.
Yeah, he could go.
He
could go 0-for-5. It's baseball.
Or he can go for yeah.
We'll be streaming tonight. We're gonna have a full jam crew. We had a blast last night. The We Got Ice guys. They're silly boogers. And Canobio, Pax, Joe's might be bopping around. We Got Ice may be back. I don't think Jolly's coming. Big weekend for Jolly. Love you, Jolly. Good luck. We'll be back talking about this game tomorrow as it's the only Game 3 going down.